Absolutely. Hi, Jessie. I'm Dr. Stephanie J. Wong, clinical psychologist with the Color Success podcast. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, my goodies. Like, I get to hear your accent that's different in the show. Um, so, I'm actually going to Hong Kong like this summer in a few weeks. And so, this show comes at a great time.
Love
Um,
that.
so I'm wondering how you were able to incorporate like the emotions of being in Hong Kong high society in this show.
Whew. Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to this show and to Cola and to like my own experience and weaving that in with Cola. I think it's I certainly haven't experienced high society Hong Kong and finance and money and schmoozing and networking and business meetings. Like none of that stuff is anything to do with what I do normally. So it was like coming in like as Cola, she has to just put on a front to mask up, facade, and just be like, I'm here, I belong, I'm blending in, I'm watching everyone, I'm learning, And I think I had for different reasons, but I had a similar thing of like looking around, okay, this is how we do things here, like this is that. And I love people watching. I'm fascinated by people and how they go about their lives. And being in Hong Kong was some of the most fascinating people watching. The magnitude of different colors of people and like experiences and the insane wealth disparity. It was just such a dynamic city. Um, and I had a very strong, stronger than I thought. I was very excited to go to Hong Kong, but actually I ended up having almost like a very vulnerable kind of um reaction to being there, where I felt it brought up a lot of like identity crises for me as a biracial person. And I was surprised by how nervous I felt. I was surprised by how kind of different I felt in certain moments and how invalid I felt. And it was really important to challenge those things. Um, and so I was going through that whilst also the character was also having to do that in certain moments. So it was really interesting parallels going on. And I hope that people who have experienced similar things, or even just, you've gone and moved to a new city and a new country and a new culture and getting to see it and see the beautiful side of it, but also the darker side of it. Like I think lots of people can relate.
Yeah, your character is very complex. We'll say that. And I think it is really important. I mean, we don't have a full time for a therapy session, obviously. But how did you kind of resolve or, continue to explore your identity after the show, even as you were like seeing those parallels?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think playing Cola taught me a lot of things. I think Cola is so heavily masked. And her just one track mind of like, I have this goal and I'm going to achieve it no matter what. Is very in contrast to me as a person. I think, um, you know, I feel like I'm masked in a very different way. I think there's a complete contrast between how I mask and how Cola does. And but I think playing Cola taught me a lot about likability, because the thing is Cola is not a likable character. I don't think so. I mean, I think I would like the idea that
There are
audiences
moments for
you
sure.
like her. You know what I mean? I like the idea that the audiences will like her in a sense, but I think as a person, she doesn't behave well. She's manipulative, she's conniving, she's sly, she's self-serving. Like there's many things about her that we would class as negative. But there's a slickness to her and there's a power to her and there's a kind of like self-servingness that is almost kind of, for me as someone who I would say is kind of the opposite to Cola in many ways, that I kind of drew from. Like I've been a people pleaser, I've put everyone first all the time, I've dimmed my light for things and not been bold. And Cola being so different and not, she's not caring about being likable, she cares about her ultimate goal. And I think it gave me more license to be like, hey, like I don't need to worry about always being, the sweetest, kindest, person to everyone. Like I can just do what I need to do sometimes, and that's okay. So that was quite cool experience to like go through.
What do you think fuels like this exclusivity in segments of society? I know that's like a larger thought question, but that's very much a part of people are staying in this very insulated community and doing things to stay in it, whether they like the people or not.
Yeah. It was quite fascinating for me to experience or to like get a sort of a peep into the lives of these people who, the rich and the powerful. Because from the outside, I think we're taught in our societies, we live under capitalism. We're taught that that's the ultimate goal, to have money, to have power. We're all working towards that. But as we know, in order for some people to be rich, everyone else has to be poor. And also, when you get this power, when you get this money, it can be taken away from you. And I think the realization that people have is that it's catastrophic. When you have that much, you have so much more to lose. And that's when people change and people get their claws in and are so afraid of losing what they have so much more riding on their losses that they drive themselves into corners. They drive themselves into like being people that they would have been ashamed of before. They lose their morals, they lose their people. And I think essentially it can be an isolating experience. So it gave me definitely a lot of like, yeah, seeing into this window and understanding the dynamics of power and understanding like why the world works the way it does and the people who are running it and why they're doing the things they're doing. Because also ultimately, like the show doesn't necessarily paint everyone with a bad brush. It shows that these people are humans who have slowly over time, each of these characters have gotten used to their status quo, they've gotten used to their comforts, they've gotten used to where they're at, and they don't want to lose that, or they want to gain more. And there's just more and more growth, as we know. So it's like really interesting. And it's interesting from like Cola's perspective, because she starts from being a working class girl she's social climbing, she's trying to get somewhere, make something of herself, meritocracy. And then she gets there, and how does that change her, and what does it cost?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, for audiences that are gearing up to see this, how would you describe the season again without giving spoilers away? It's very, very hard because there's so many nuances. And what are you most excited for them to see?
What we've been talking about, how it's a champagne soaked revenge thriller. Um,
Oh, I like
and,
that.
it's glitz and it's glamour and it's fun and it's funny and it's summer. And yeah, I think the show, I do feel it's fun if you don't know you don't have much idea what's going to happen going in. Um, but it's essentially about people and secrets and the how people hide who they really are and the things that people will do to get what they want. And I think genuinely it's a show that is relatable to people from all walks of life. I think that so far, based on people I know who've seen it, every different ages, different backgrounds, like there's something kind of universal about it. It's a kind of show that you could watch with your friends and just have like a great time and get into like good discussions about stuff. But without it being too much, it's not like challenging you. It's easy, it's digestible. And it's also just like lots of just beautiful places and people and scenery. And yeah, I just think it's a really great fun summer binge watch.
What are your top spots in Hong Kong so I could take note of that as I go into it? And obviously, I won't be eating at some of those places, those dinner parties, but your local spots.
Right. Um, wow, what are local spots that were good? I mean, I like nature, so I like to be outdoors. And if you are outdoorsy in any way, like I would recommend going on some hikes because you can get to some just beautiful places. And just like for me, I mean, it was just exciting walking around and hearing different birds that I'd never heard before. I was like, who the hell is he? Like that was great.
I hope you
Um,
named them.
yeah, literally, I've literally never heard a bird make that noise before. So I was getting very like nerdy and excited over all the flora and fauna. But yeah, there's just so many wonderful places. And I think one of the most exciting things would just be like wandering around. I lived near it. We were staying kind of near Central on One Chai, but I would go off on just like random routes. I just wander, and then I'd find like a random place where like everyone inside is like they're all uncles eating dim sum, and I'd be like, "This is where I'm gonna eat," and it would be like some cheap food that someone would be like, oh, it's nothing special, but it'd be delicious, so well made and like so authentic. And I like doing that, just going and finding like a cool little place to like hang out in. So yeah, I recommend just having a little explore, really, seeing what Hong Kong throws at you.
Yeah, the spots. I saw on online that people, is it true, I guess, that they clean their dishes with tea before eating?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You do that with dim sum, especially. Like people in my family have done that before, where you always you wash your dishes, and that was a really nice thing to do. Like I remember, it was so lovely sitting down to have dim sum with my classmates, and just like the fact that that was just everyone was just doing it without and we're chatting, and I was like, this is so nice. I don't have to explain to people what's happening. Like everyone was, we were all from like Asian diaspora, but like all over the
Yes.
world. And we just had such a shared understanding of our own culture that was just, it was so lovely to be around these people. Really, really blessed.
Yeah, I think the synergy on screen really showed. I mean, um, I guess to end, it's like what will you miss most about filming with these group of people? Because I imagine that it was a blast.
It was it was so funny. Like some of the funniest people in this cast, like we were just laughing all the time. And I think also, when things are a bit stressful, and also because there's so many of us, and often we'd all be cramped together in one space, and you just got to get on. And it meant that we all just formed these such strong bonds. And it's such a beautiful thing to think like, oh, I can go to this country and there'll be a sofa for me to crash on. I can go sleep on your couch if I'm in Japan, or like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, just I miss seeing everyone every day and just like the jokes. But we have a group chat. People are still very active in it. And whenever anyone's in each other's countries, we all meet up. And of course, we're going to see each other at the premiere. So I'm excited to have the gang back together.
That's how down to earth you are. I will sleep on their couch. So definitely differentiation with cola. Jesse, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was lovely speaking with you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.